goalkeepers, because when
you just say cut supply to Barbara, that's why I say you have alternatives. Yes. You have the other Rachel.
And before the others come in, before the others come in, I think it's about the creativity. We have been crying about the midfield, those two players. But the worry is when they have the ball, how do we respond? Goalkeeping department, we still have issues. We have changed so many goalkeepers. So the defense also, how good are they to be able to gel? I know for sure that it would have been a bonus to have had Belemu fit and be able to feature.
Belem is not fit.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been a bonus for us, Katushi. We can't run away from the fact that an asset is not there.
I think the coach, the technical bench will go for a makeshift positions in terms of the midfield. Looking at what you are explaining is very, very correct. And we expect, since we have got players who are naturally intelligent, that can't be taken away from the current squad that we have. I think the makeshift position is also going to help in terms of trying to come up with that creativity you are talking about. I'm sure coaches.
So that's the lineup you can refer.
Experience of the Olympics, the experience of the World Cup. If you were to check on record, we are going in with more pros now. So they should be oriented to tactics that are quite up above. And this is why the US coach is not the targets of strength and where they can pin Zambia. And she's very intelligent. The only way to do is cut the ball supply to Barbara and, of course, Priska. But there is a sense of urgency that she will be shocked if the likes of Priska are going to play, because the transition becomes more quicker, unlike, obviously, the way it was. And unlike a floating of the ball, she would rather run with the ball. So have to create space, 2 or 3 players in attack, and be able to create the space. They always play in vertical like that. And this is quite something, like I said, they have to understand this. Of course,
the question is, how much do we know about our opponents?
And that's where the problem is. We don't have the tactical mind to be able to read player for player. Of course, we can know of the yes.
Should we go?
But if the coach wants to read the US team, just look at how Orlando Pride plays. I think they have at least 6 or 7 players from there, more likely to play and start, obviously, for the USA. They have not scored as many goals in the friendly matches that they've played. They are more like in Zambia. So there is.
Coach Bruce does that.
Coach Bruce, this is what
let me bring in
this is what by now you should understand.
Let me bring in
this time around, I think we've seen Lini Kamwe come in as a video analyst coach. So obviously, it's within his office to ensure that he get to have a critical analysis, so that he gives out to the technical bench what was needed according to the player performance pedigree, basing at the club level, because that's the reason why we've been talking about enhancement of a backroom staff. And food position of Zambia have embarked on that, and it's good that we have now our own local, personnel to do that. So obviously,
but
that's why we are.
Why can't you go and bully those people? Bully them, forget about us being a Christian nation. Sometimes you want to play like you are holding the Bible on the pitch and whatnot.
What happens in most of the times? What happens most of the times is, especially when a player tests the pressure on the field of play, they tend to go down. So you need to create harmonization in the player to understand that if I step in many aspects, and this is how he has improved. He knows if he gives an instruction and it doesn't work, the players just are able to adjust and, of course, take on hold-ons. The game against the famous win, what really transpired? It wasn't the coach, but the intelligence of the players. They did that. So the coach, the job of
Bruce knows what it takes now at the world standard level football, what it takes to win a game. He's been to Olympics. He's getting back to Olympics. He went to the World Cup with the team. So this time around, even media speculation is not something that is going to disturb the technical bench. You saw at the World Cup, they got disturbed. Because these whites were trying to.
That's why we don't want to talk about it, because it's mind games that you don't want to give attention.
So this time around, he has got that experience, and we expect a different, approach of this game, because the first game matters a lot in the tournament.
But when we played the qualifiers, gentlemen, I think let us not be too